everybody, and welcome to the Information Paradise podcast. Today we have Connor Pogue and Jurrian Suitjen, and we're going to talk about first conspiracy theories and how that affects the mind, and we're going to talk about spiral dynamics, spirituality, relationships. We'll see where we go. All right, so welcome, guys, to the podcast.
Hello.
Nice to see you again. Always good. Conspiracy theories. The world is on the internet. A lot of the world is on the internet, and there's a lot of information on the internet. We live on the information age, in the information age. Problem with that, there's many benefits, but one of the problems is, you get information about anything from anywhere, and we can fall down rabbit holes that lead to a life where suffering is more and suffering is not less. So in order to prevent that, let's talk about conspiracy theories as they are, not the contents of them, so whether one is right or wrong, but the structure. Why do people think in this way? So I'll pose that question to you guys. Why do you think some people go into conspiracy theories and others don't?
Connor, you want to take it up?
Yeah, sure. So I think we were chatting before, and we kind of mentioned how people, we're talking at spiral dynamics right now, when they're at lower stages, they're more likely to play the victim role, and they'll like search out like, why did this happen to me? And they'll play the blame game, and they'll like make up ideas, and they'll kind of think about different reasons, and then they'll like come up with these conspiracy theories, for example. And that's kind of like a starting point.
Yeah. How I feel like, as you mentioned, when they have like an issue in their lives and they can't really find like a solid reason for it, it's always easier to find like a group of people or like someone else to blame. I noticed this myself. I used to have a lot of resentment for my parents, and I think a lot of young people, they recognize this.
Yeah.
And I also just blamed them for it. But then what's kind of problematic is when you keep blaming a group of people, you're not actually, this is what I feel like, you're not actually working to solve the problem. And I feel like you're just passing the ball on, because you kind of start a blame cycle. And that's maybe Connor, you mentioned before that it's kind of low vibrational and vibrational energy that can lower your frequency. I think it has a lot to do with the blaming.
Yeah, and just kind of like in general, if you start like getting deep into them, you'll start to like, well, for one, they don't really do much for you. Like if you start like we were talking earlier about the flat earth, like, so what if it's flat, or so what if it's like, it's not really going to change anything in my life. And that's just one example, but if you keep like, you can sometimes just feel like depressed if you read all these conspiracy theories, but like, and if you believe them, if they're true or whatever, you can just kind of like feel like you're kind of lost in the system, or there's no hope. So if you want to learn about these, if you're like curious, where it should be good to be like an open mind, take them bit by bit, like a few days. You shouldn't like read them all the time, that makes sense.
Another aspect of this paradigm of the conspiracy theorist, and another good point is actually it can be any conspiracy theory. The content doesn't matter, it's about the structure. So another thing is the compulsive need to be right. When I think about like 5G and coronavirus and all the conspiracy theories, I really got deep into that, but yeah, I knew that it was. I just want to be right here, and I want everyone else to be sort of wrong. But like, I want to be the intelligent one walking through the streets. Like, look at all these sheep, and there's me.
Yeah.
The lion.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it's so polarizing as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Especially when you say like, yeah, you're the sheep, because this is also like very known in the conspiracy theory community that, you know, like, you're just a sheep, you know. I'm woke.
Yeah.
And you are a sheep. And just that mentality, it prevents many conspiracy theories from even hearing, you know, outside perspective.
Yeah.
And of course, like the people who aren't conspiracy theorists aren't exempt from this, because they see the conspiracy theorists as sheep. They call them sheep.
Yeah.
And they themselves think that they are woke.
Later on, we're going to get into spirituality and the mechanics of the ego. And what is the ego? Because this all comes from the ego. So, you know, like believing that what I am is something different from what these people are and what you are. As if we'll get into that. Yeah.
So I feel like one of the causes of the conspiracy theory uprise, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I feel like a big part of it has to do with algorithms. And I saw a video about this, and that YouTube algorithms and, you know, Facebook algorithms, they just want to make you put as many time onto your screen as they can. So they will keep on recommending you stuff. Like I noticed this as well, because when YouTube started, I still remember that it seemed quite genuine. And then at some point they just started recommending so much shit that is just supposedly like packed with action. Like you would just be watching a dog video, and then from the dog video you would get recommended a dog versus a cat video, and then you're watching that, and then you're watching some fucking beetle fight a rat, and then
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
The thing is here is that so somebody might think about this, and then they might actually think about how YouTube, the algorithm, this is the mentality we're talking about. But really, if I was the owner of YouTube, I would have implemented this. You know, so, and it's about the victim mentality, where it's like, oh no, I'm a slave to the algorithm. Like, but really, if we know, if we're sovereign or whatever, and we have, you know, if we're people who, you know, if we feel free inside, then we're not no algorithm or junk food or any other way that people who control a lot of stuff can hook people and stuff. We're not, you know, we're unhookable.
Do you guys think the makers of YouTube, or like the makers of the social media platforms, do you guys think they have a responsibility here?
Ooh. Well, I think it's like there's two things we have to consider. The makers of the system, like YouTube or like Instagram, and then the actual content creators. And they're interlinked, because you can't have one without the other, you know. And like a lot of the things I see on YouTube, it's like so captivating to click it. It's like it has a great thumbnail and like a great title, and it's like a question, or like, what's the number one thing of blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, what is it? So I have to click it, and just like you were saying, it can trail on like recommended videos after that one. It's like, oh no, what's this?
So what we've got to do, I believe, in our generation of people who are, it's been going on for ages, people who are subject to really intelligent marketing and stuff like this, where we hook the dopamine. What we've got to do is to realize this and just be able to not be hooked, you know. So it's our responsibility, I believe, to learn about it and like.
Yeah. Yes, I agree, but also not, because I also feel like it's very much in like the human system. It's like human programming to want to click on certain flashy things. And I think that some groups, if they're not controlled, they can easily abuse this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean that's the extent to which I believe that people should try and become aware. So imagine if we became aware of our deep, or like that level of depth. Obviously, I'm talking about most people are about 40% of people are at about blue on the stages. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say like the algorithms, they could probably like predict or accurately assess what level of the spiral you're on.
Yeah.
That's just a guess, but
I
maybe
don't
not
think
directly.
I don't think they actually know the spiral dynamics model, but I
Yeah.
think they do know you as a person, like kind of, at least. They kind of know your like, what are you watching, like what do you find interesting, are you left, are you right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Thing is, this would be really scary, wouldn't it? Thousands of people know me probably better than I know myself. But this is where the conspiracy theory paradigm, let's end it, because with the realization that what are we really? We'll get into that. But yeah, like have no fear. That's what I want to say. I mean, even if technology is becoming extremely powerful, but what's the use in being fearful?
Yeah, being fearful is just like a bad thing. I rarely say bad, but like it really slows down the evolutionary progress. And yeah, so all in all, like things like this is gonna sound pretty crazy, but like the universe has a way of like filtering out the bad things. So like if you take a look at like my parents, they like sometimes they like watch the news, and like I can see that that's bad, so I don't watch the news.
Yeah, I do.
And probably like I'm just putting myself in my parents' shoes. Like, what if I was the parent watching YouTube and my son was like, oh, I'm just gonna watch it because I can see from like him, it's just not good. So like through evolutionary cycles, we can like weed out the bad things, but it just takes time, lifetime after lifetime, it takes time. Ideally, we want to solve the problems as quick as possible. Yeah.
We're still talking about conspiracy theories?
Well, we just kind of went on a tangent for YouTube and algorithms.
I want to get back to conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I think
because I'm not sure. Yeah, we spoke about this before, but you guys know Alex Jones.
Yeah.
What I see in many conspiracy theorists is that they are very impractical. So even though they might have like great theories and speculations about like the deep state or like certain groups of people, I noticed that they aren't really likely to actually go out and do something.
Yeah.
And they just have like that the conspiracy theory becomes like a mental kind of fantasy.
Yes.
And did you guys hear about the guy, the Pizzagate guy who broke into like a pizza restaurant because he was convinced that there were a bunch of children in the basement, actually, like with a gun.
And it wasn't there. It was all false, right?
Yeah, it was all false. Yeah. of course you don't want to be that guy. And I feel like, for example, Alex Jones is a good example. People call him the king of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Or like and he talks so much. I think he knows about every conspiracy theory in the world. And what I feel like Alex Jones, and you said this beautifully, Connor. You said, what did you say about a little truth, a little bit of truth?
A little bit of truth is dangerous.
A little bit of truth is dangerous, yeah. Because when I feel like I listen to Alex Jones, I can hear, like, I hear him sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, like, you're definitely speaking some truth here. But then it feels like, on top of that little bit of truth, which I think is, I think there's a little bit of truth in many conspiracy theories, but it can be very dangerous, because when you hold on to that little bit of truth, and you hold on to it really tightly, and you don't question that little, when you don't question the rest of the stuff you find after that little bit of truth, because you have that little bit of truth, then you might just go down a fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's like the little bit of truth is like also attached to like a little bit of lies, and you're kind of holding on to that whole thing.
Yeah. And you think that the whole big lies, they must be true because that little piece is true.
Yes. So from a higher perspective, when we zoom out and we see what's going on, like when we actually go onto Alex Jones's website, whatever, like this guy, I mean, surely what we should be doing is seeing, is this guy peaceful? Is this guy really happy? Because he knows all this stuff. He knows, he's trying to teach me a load of stuff that I should apparently know, that's right and true. What has it got on this guy?
Yeah, that reminds me of something. Ryan Cropper said this pretty well, and I think it was along the lines of, only take advice from people who have what you want. And so, like, if you're taking advice from someone and they're trying to tell you how to be happy, but they're not happy themselves, don't take that advice.
Yeah,
you know.
And if they're giving health advice and they're fat, it's a great example, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what are some of the common traits, let's say, of someone who firmly believes in many conspiracy theories?
Great question. Usually in a victim mindset, right? Complaining. If you're with them, or if you hang out with them, they're going to find the bad in everything.
Yeah, they can be kind of pessimistic also, I believe.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with like the worldview, like how they see the world.
Yes.
And we were kind of mentioning before about like blue, orange, and maybe green. The blue and orange are kind of like the two most prevalent conspiracy theories where they come from.
What I also feel like is they're quite firm in their positions always. So they're quite, maybe sometimes it seems like they're a little bit dogmatic.
Yeah.
Where they just, like, let's say, you learn about one conspiracy theory, you learn about two conspiracy theories, you learn about three, and you investigate all three, and then you hear about the fourth conspiracy theory, and you don't even actually investigate it. You just take it to be true because all of the other conspiracy theories you were reading about was true. And so I feel like Yeah, that's also why I notice that people who are conspiracy theorists, they don't just believe in one. I never know people who just think one of the theories is like conspiracy theory, but I notice that most of them, they um, they have like a lot of conspiracy theories they believe in.
Yeah, and it's not like it's good to be like open-minded. However, it's like all equally, if not greater, important to like do your own research and like use your direct experience. Like that is so key to finding truth, you know?
Yeah.
Later on, we'll discuss what is truth.
Oh shit, are we?
Yes.
What is truth? Okay. I also feel like they are very much for freedom, and they want to be very free, and they feel like there are they are being limited. And because they feel like they're being limited, they want, that's kind of one of the things they feel like they need to blame people for, because maybe they have been censored before, maybe some of their freedoms have been taken away. I still notice that quite some of my friends, they started really getting into conspiracy theories when they, for example, when they were forced to wear mouthpieces, or like mouthpieces, the masks.
Yeah.
And so right after, because yeah, that's just what I notice, is that when freedom is, a little bit of freedom is taken away.
Fuck, did you get that notification?
Oh yeah, I just got a notification that the
18 minutes.
Yeah, whatever.
Cool.
Great. I lost my train of thought now, but
your friend Ma, and they felt.
Oh yeah. So I feel like when you take some of the freedom away from people, they immediately might assume that there is like a group of people who is doing that with the intent to silence them, or to do them wrong, or to um, just hurt them or harm them. And I feel like maybe it's a lack of big picture understanding, because when you have like a very big picture understanding, I feel like the chance to become a conspiracy theorist is much smaller, because you see that for example, um I noticed that I discovered that the government sometimes needs to take your freedom away in some places to get more freedom for the whole.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Something I would say. Okay. Goodbye, Connor. Anyway, something I would, is he actually still in there? No, he's not. He's literally gone. Well, it's still going. Okay, something I would say while the thought is still here. Like you were saying, they feel this pull to freedom. They feel like they're getting blocked. I would say this is kind of mid-blue, and maybe slightly after mid-blue. So they see the orange on the horizon, and they know, hang on, I could actually be freed. I could be a free person. But anyway.
Did you guys crash? My computer kind of freaked out for a second.
Alright. But yeah, what I was saying was this conspiracy theorists' urge to feel free, and like feeling like, oh, I'm being blocked off from my freedom because I had to put on the mask. I would say that it feels to me like mid-blue or slightly after mid-blue, where they can see freedom on the horizon, and they're noticing, hang on, I'm actually being limited here.
Yeah, that actually reminded me of something real quick about the limits of each spiral stage, and like they have the person, organization, country they have to find the limits within their own value system themselves.
Yeah.
And then that's how they move on to the new stage. So.
All right. So.
Yeah.
So have you guys gotten into conspiracy theories, got this kind of thinking in your life before?
Hell yes.
I have.
I have, because I met a conspiracy theorist, like one who was really deep into it, and he told me about Pizzagate. He told me about adrenochrome, about Trump, QAnon,
Yeah.
about aliens.
I guess did it make you feel kind of suspicious about everything?
Yeah, like I noticed that those people, most of them are very suspicious, and I think it's good to be like.
Yeah.
I think curiosity is like a good thing.
Yeah.
But you need to remain skeptical also.
Yeah.
Be skeptical of your skepticism.
Hey, that's a really good one, because I certainly feel like we shouldn't just blow out all of the conspiracy theories out of the room, because to say all conspiracy theories they're fake is just another theory.
It's just,
yeah. There was a poster I had. I think I sent you a picture of it.
Yeah.
And it's just a full thing of just a list of conspiracy theories. And like some of them just kind of like look at, and it's like, okay, I don't know if that's true. I'm not really gonna like put too much mental energy on that. But like other ones, it's like I read about it in a book, and then I find it on the map thing, and I'm like, oh, so maybe there is some truth to this one. So it kind of like I don't look for it. I end up finding it other ways, and not using that cognitive bias we talked about with the algorithm.
Yeah, I feel you. And also there is so much fake information around nowadays, guys. It's ridiculous. Like we were also speaking about some of the shit you can now do with some of the tools we have on our computers. Like we can put faces in other people's faces and make them say things that they didn't actually say. We can create references that aren't true, and it it literally, like, I feel like we're in an age where it becomes very hard actually to know what's real and what's not real. And I feel like conspiracy theories are kind of the result of that difficultness of trying to find out what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, especially like, well, two things. They take time to find out if it's actually true or if it's not. And that goes with like the other thing, which is like the fact that we're wired for like instant gratification all the time. We don't want to have to like find out or do the research for like a week to find out if something is true. So it's like, it's what's the word? It's kind of like it's just we have to go out of our way to do things like that.
You know, myself, I wouldn't consider myself a conspiracy theorist, but I like to keep at least 1 feet in the conspiracy theories, or maybe like my toes or something like that, because you don't want to be completely out of it as well, because like we know of many conspiracy theories, or which we called conspiracy theories, which actually turned out not to be conspiracy theories, and we found out that they were actually quite significant as well. Like you don't want to put away something as a conspiracy theory too quickly.
No, I don't.
Yeah, just like, oh, go ahead, David.
I don't want to put you on the spot, Jurrian, but do you have an example of one of those?
Yeah, like for me, it was, for example, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
That he had like an island, you know, with like a lot of underage girls. I don't know if you guys saw the documentary or like the series on Netflix. where they exposed
about it.
Yeah, they exposed him basically, and so like they showed a lot of footage from his island. They interviewed some of the girls that used to work on his island, and I feel like that's kind of like it is kind of important to know that there are some people that really
we should
that do bad things, let's say.
Yeah, I think,
or that are capable of doing bad things.
Yeah, I think like I know we can't really make people think whatever, but like shouldn't it just be the people who are in charge of dealing with crime to know about crime all the time? Someone who's employed to do that. Because I see people who aren't and who are like just like us, and they're always putting in their mind about stuff that some horrific stuff that humans do. It's just like, I wish you wouldn't do that because you'd be happier.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Oh yeah, just like I read this in a book a while back, and it's just like if you take something and you think it's just like you should have like a weird folder thing in a drawer or something, and you're just kind of like, oh, that's strange, or it seems very interesting. It's like write it down and put it in the folder, and just kind of like let it go. And if it comes back up, like oh, I can look that up again. I remember hearing about that. Just kind of like back pocket it, but don't completely disregard it.
That's a good tip. I feel like that's a good tip.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we move on to the next topic, guys? I feel like we spoke about conspiracy theories a lot.
Well, I have one more thing to say.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the basic premise of this, or what I want to get across, is it's just taking away the paradigm of suspicion. Skepticism is fine, obviously, and like comparing stuff, but like suspicion is just not a way we want to live. You know, it's just fear-based.
Yeah, and also like a very important one is like combining what you say, what Connor said, is how much does it really matter if it's so?
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Because I know, like, even if it were actually so that there are some pedophiles who are doing bad things. I know that there are a lot of people who are doing very, very bad things.
Yeah.
But I also know that I can't just stop them like this. So I also have to let my guards down a little sometimes, you know? Yeah.
I think that if someone's like really going into conspiracy theories, they should, if you do that, then you have to do stuff about it, and not just like share it on social media so that everyone else gets to read and feel suspicious as well. No.
Yeah.
I think they should put money towards it, towards a foundation trying to stop crime. I mean, that's what it's about, isn't it, really? And like stop stuff that is unhealthy. Yeah, like take it seriously if you're going to go into it.
Yeah.
How's it unfollow?
Yeah. And like also just like take a step back and be like, okay, is this like healthy for me? Do I want to go down this road or no?
And ask
that awareness.
Ask oneself if it's just to feel right. Do I just want to feel, am I just consuming this so that I feel more comfortable in my world? Like I understand this crazy complex world I'm in.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what were we moving on to?
Well, I think maybe we can go on to the list of spiral dynamics words. So
Yes.
basically, what we're doing here is we've got a list of words, and for each word, we are going to discuss how each of the spiral dynamic stages would think about them, and a little insight. So,
Yes, let's do it.
Do we want to go through like all 8 stages, or just like blue, orange, green, yellow, turquoise?
I think we can do all of them because it won't take.
Okay.
So, okay, I'll start here. So the first word is money. Beige. For beige,
Money.
like what is money to beige? To a homeless person, it's
I think
just the
maybe
means
you
of
should.
surviving.
I think maybe you should term it as wealth, for example. Like what does being wealthy mean?
Yes.
Maybe it's better because.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
having money.
Yeah.
Like for beige, it'd just be like survival. Like, oh great, I can like eat food now, or something like that.
Yeah, I can get to the next day.
Yeah, getting to the next day, like living day by day. That's what money would be to it, to beige.
With its pots. Please give me money.
Yeah. I guess that could go along with like food too, because that's what they would use it for.
Yeah.
Or like
That's
food
a
and
good
clothes.
Yeah. Food but also shelter, like shelter, food,
Yeah.
water.
Money is quite important to a beige person.
Yeah, and later on the list we have junk food. So that's another interesting one. Like it's
Tom Cruise.
like junk food.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like what would they spend the money on? Well, possibly junk food, because it might be the cheapest and they need to survive.
Yeah.
And then they move to purple. What does money become then?
First thing that comes to my mind is to get stuff for the whole tribe. So instead of buying a hamburger for myself, I'll buy what's it called? A tarpaulin, a big sheet of plastic, a big one, so that I can shelter all of my tribe members.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't think money really exists in the purple like as much as we see it in today's society. It might be like coins at the most.
It's more like
probably
trading
be more
items.
of along the lines of, yeah, it'd be more trading, and probably like just like necessity stuff still, because they still don't have an ego basically until red.
Yeah. So I'm thinking how we can express spiral dynamics in a modern time so that people can walk around the city and see it, right?
Yeah.
What we could do is think of the story of a homeless person going all the way from beige to a yogi. So like 20 years, they go from beige, a year later they find a tribe, and a year later they become like the head of that tribe, and blue, and then orange, and blah, blah, blah. So I think
That'd be incredible for them.
Yeah, what a great life. Crazy.
Some things on the list, I was going to say, they are kind of independent or sometimes non-existent.
Yeah.
Like spirituality only starts at green basically, and then it kind of is disregarded at yellow.
But what about purple? They got spirits.
Oh yeah, good call. Good. So it's basically like on the cool colors minus blue. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They still got spirituality. Big religion.
Blue's more like religion.
Yeah,
and like
spirituality there, isn't it? You know, they can still have a spiritual experience, but be it blue. And I think they're saying with beige.
Yeah.
It's also it's quite a hard one to explain spirituality, because spirituality doesn't I think a better item would be to maybe say, like, what does the word God mean, or something like that, or like, what is God?
Thing is
it existent? Is it non-existent?
I mean,
what do they frame it as? What
Yeah.
do they pray to? You know.
I think we should have prepared more for this. But
Yeah.
I think spirituality. Let's stay on this, because in a beige, if I'm beige, I can still have a spiritual experience. This is what I think, anyway. So, you know, for example, I could be living in a cave, for example, and I come out and I see a sunset for the first time in years. Imagine that experience, and then that could trigger an awakening in us at beige. You know, that there is nothing I am not.
Mm-hmm.
That spirituality felt on all levels.
I remember Leo's, one of his videos once, actualize.org, about spiral dynamics. He talked about independent variables and how those like relate to the stage of the, well, how they, more precisely, how they don't relate to the stages. And like if you have like a spiritual insight or like mystical experiences, that actually doesn't matter. Like you can have a mystical experience even if you're at blue, but you'll just label it as like, oh, I saw Jesus, or like an angel from Jesus. And that can go all the way down, like you were saying, to beige even, David. Yeah.
So spirituality, wait, where are we now? We went to beige. Are we at purple now?
Okay, so yeah, we didn't really finish wealth. God, we're terrible. Well, okay, let's just go quick. So, all right. So, regarding the word wealth, so to beige, survival, basically just survival, isn't it? Money
just survival. Yeah, wealth isn't really in the picture there. Yeah. It's just having the food, just having the shelter, you know, like having a cave. That's wealth. Having
clothes,
and then
maybe having
safety,
like a spear or like a bow or something like that.
Yeah.
Not even. I think that's purple, probably even. But
it's interesting because if we gave a homeless person £1 million and everything that a millionaire has, they wouldn't react to it in the same way as an orange person would.
No way. Like when you go to, for example, when you go to let's move on to the next one, wealth and purple. When you go to a purple tribe and you show them like a 500, like $1,000 in cash, they won't care. You know, if they want to kill you, you might be, yeah, but I have 10 million. You guys can have the 10 million. And they'll be like, yeah, we'll just kill you anyways. We don't really care about we don't even know what 10 million is.
Yeah. To be fair though, I think if they understood what it meant, they would probably be like, oh, sure. We would all the bows we ever have in life. You know, I think if they understood, then they would care about wealth a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it would also like it would move them up to red or higher ones pretty quickly.
Yeah, red. Moving on to red. Wealth means power, doesn't it?
Yes.
Much more power.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, just sheer power.
Yes.
Sheer power and like a status as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like power and
Hierarchy.
status, like.
Blue.
Blue.
Blue is,
what does wealth mean?
Church.
There's still like a pyramid structure, like a hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's more group oriented.
Yes.
And they kind of go toward the cause and not the person themselves.
Yeah. So we'll give the church. We'll make sure that the church has golden stuff in it. Even though the green people will be like, there's homeless people out there. Why is all this stuff golden? But yeah, because we have the cause of maintaining Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like wealth is like a very beautiful church, or like a beautiful
Mosque.
temple.
Yeah. Also, like towards the government as well, to maintain social order.
Like the White House, kind of. The White House is like super fancy. Yeah. It doesn't have to be that fancy, but yes, it is. The orange.
Of course.
Well, that's pretty easy.
Pardon?
It's just like going on to orange, the next stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like just like kind of power, but like more of manipulation and kind of weaving in and out of the rules instead of being so like bluntly corrupt.
And now I think a massive difference is money is now for fun. It wasn't really for fun usually, like before orange. Now I've gone past blue, and I'm socially conditioned, but I'm an individual. Now I can just splurge and I can get a yacht. With my friends. I can have strippers.
Yeah.
Order strippers. And retire.
It's like very materialistic, like orange is very materialistic. So like having wealth is, I think here having wealth is like having a lot of money, having a lot of items.
Yeah. With the belief.
But also, and kind of, I notice also, now that I think about it, is that some of the previous stages, like orange, the wealth of orange might be the wealth of red, but then amplified or something like that. Like for example, wealth was maybe like having like a lot of power and status in the hierarchy, or having like a lot of strength. And then maybe orange is like not just having a lot of like physical strength, but like it's maybe physical strength, but also, for example, like you have a voice, like
influence.
You have influence. Yeah, exactly. That's also wealth. And
influence
of course,
over
status.
blue.
Yeah. Could be.
And I'm not 100% sure, but I think red is more of like a it's more survival, and it's more like there's more stress involved in red and less happiness.
Yeah.
Opposed to orange.
Stalin.
Yeah.
Stalin is red.
Pretty much.
And also very rich. And also dead. But yes. I think
or modern technology, not to get off topic, but I think this is where modern technology really shines the most. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
All right, so going on to green next.
Wait, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So having money as an orange person having power over blue. Now, a great place to study spiral dynamics is in a nightclub. So, you know, and power as a person also means sexual influence. So there are many, many, many blue females, for example, and who yearn for self-expression at the most ecstatic level.
Yeah.
And when you're an orange man who has lots of wealth, it's kind of a showing that, and especially if you're having fun, and it shows that, hang on, you can enjoy this too. You can release yourself from the reins of blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they were blue. They were blue like originally, like in their family or like in their school or maybe church, and now they want to move because they've seen the limits. They want to move on.
It's a good insight. And we're going to talk about sexual at some point. I'm not sure if it'll be this one, but yeah.
Hell yes.
Be good. It'll be really good.
Okay, so
green.
What's
What's wealth in green?
I feel like wealth. Well,
Social
wealth had to do with wealth had power before, but now wealth has like a new meaning, and it's kind of like has to do with relationships and love, and that's the power that green likes. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Charity.
It's like very, and they also value like harmonious relationships, like everyone gets a voice, balance is key.
Yeah. Equality.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also like a country, like a green country considers itself very wealthy when there's a lot of equality.
Yeah.
It's like traveling in like Sweden. Sweden's a rather green place, right? We know that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say so, yeah.
It's like love is the currency.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Love is the currency.
Or I guess that'd be pretty good.
T-shirts.
But like love, comma, peace, like harmonious communication, like all those things equal the currency.
Yeah. So financial stuff regarding green, we've got like community projects, fundraising, projects for like wildlife conservation, and like getting rid of plastic and stuff, and healing the world. They're all very lovey-dovey, very great.
And then in yellow, I think the wealth expresses in. I think it expresses in how well is your system structured. So you've gone beyond money.
Yeah. Oh, like with yellow system, getting the system really fucking tight. It can also the system which creates the money. So a self-sustaining system creating.
Yeah.
It's like how sustainable can we be?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like how simple, because I read that yellow really values like natural systems, like the trees. I'm just taking my background, but like the trees and the ecosystem, that's a system in itself, and it's a pretty simple one. Like trees die, they dissolve in the ground, and then new life happens throughout the like decomposition process, and that's a pretty simple one, but it's like it's very good.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a tangent, but Yeah. And then
knowledge also, I would say.
Yes.
oh, for sure. Yeah.
Knowledge is that's having wealth.
Yeah.
Understanding.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So money spent by a yellow person, like books, maybe on sort of books, going to classes perhaps,
Like lifelong learning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And turquoise.
Yeah.
What's wealth here, guys?
Spiritual
connection.
The truth. Love.
Yeah, connection to like source knowledge.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, connection to source. Inner peace, I think. Inner peace is having like that's wealth.
Uncorruptible peace. Unconditional love.
Yeah.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turquoise is a good one. It's not like the money, it's back into the heart, but it's like greater understanding of all the other stages. And so it learned its lesson through all of them, but it's the best parts of them. And so it knows that along with tier 2, that like money is necessary in the world we live in, and we can't just like push this and just believe all is always like love and peace, just like green was, because people underneath that don't really believe that, so and therefore they don't take that as currency. So
it's beautiful. Yeah, it's funny, like when you look at wealth, and then from everything from tier 2, so from yellow onwards, wealth is not simply one thing anymore. It's like multiple things now.
Yeah.
So everything that we mentioned before, it's all added on top of each other. So wealth, like having wealth is like a bigger picture now. Like it's getting more inclusive.
Because it's a spiral, because we start small, and then we go on top of each other, and each rotation we get bigger and bigger. Yeah. Opposed to being like levels, like Maslow's hierarchy. Yeah. Good one.
And also I think the wealth it changes within the spiral based on whether the orientation of the color is based upon individualism or collectivism.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay.
I think we finished it.
Yeah, we finished the money, and
This is next.
God, music is going to be such an interesting one.
Yeah.
But that's at the very bottom. So.
Okay.
How long is this thing actually? How far are we in?
I actually don't know.
30 minutes. 30 minutes since my computer crashed.
Okay.
I think something like 40, 50 minutes, 45 minutes.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. If you guys want to like take a break and like leave this for part 2, that's all good. I can keep going though.
Okay.
Let's do a little break.
Yeah, I could use the toilet.
Okay.
All right,
sure.
All
right.
God bless everybody.
So yeah, let's stop recording. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. See you guys in a quick second.
Me too. Put some lights.